find it busy, yeah, oh yeah. They're bringing up my history, oh yeah. She won't even listen, yeah, oh yeah. We'll wait for everyone to hop on and we'll get started. So make sure you have water, notebook, markers, pen, a mocktail, whatever feels good, and then we'll get started. Okay, well, we're gonna get started, and if people hop on late, that's totally fine. So welcome to the Content Creatrix Workshop. I am so excited, even wearing my little Creatrix necklace, because this is going to be such a fun workshop, and I'm just really excited to share with you all the knowledge that I've learned in about, oh my God, 10 years of creating content online. I've learned so much during this time, and so I'm just really excited to distill everything I have learned into 1 hour. And I feel like too, there are so many different people talking about content, social media, online, and I really want to just give my process, because I feel like a lot of that information is either boring or it doesn't resonate with me or it hasn't worked with me. So I really want to kind of give you the inside scoop on what has worked for me, what hasn't, and just how you can make content creation really, really magical. Okay, so we're going to get into all the juiciness, and I feel like, you know, my business really relies on content, so we're going to be talking a lot about content in a business sense. And it can just feel so overwhelming to start creating content online in general, whether you're an artist or whether you are starting your own business. And I just want the content creation process to feel really inspiring and fun for you. And this is why I came up with this Creatrix method of making content. And once I really started embodying this Creatrix energy in my business, everything changed. So in this workshop, we're going to cover the power of creating content, stepping into your Creatrix Persona Online, creativity hacks, finding the perfect platform for you and what it is that you want to be promoting, branding, and how to grow on social media. But first, before we get into all of this, we are going to move our bodies, because you both know that I love to move my body. And so we're going to do that before we get started, just to get some energy flowing. So I'm going to put on a song. We're just going to dance. I want you to just move, vibe out, and then we'll get into it. Okay, so let me pick out a good song. I listened to so many songs today and I'm like, oh yes, this would be good. This would be good. Yes. Switch it up. Living inside me, bitch, kick it up. When I rise like Phoenix. They don't know what's happening. You know me, you know I'm carefree, might cut you off. Wanna see this bad bitch level up. When I rise like Phoenix. Do shit like laser beam. Keep up. I'm sorry, but it's silly to me now that you had really no idea who the fuck that you were dealing with. I'm like the second comma, yeah, the faucet running on my genius. I was thinking you were way too busy stealing it. So if you're feeling stupid, pay attention, I'll repeat it. Did I mention every day I slay, but I don't get conceited. When I look in the mirror, I see my soul, we have agreed to be the realest, and I put that shit on every time. Burning, 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 thinking I found my purpose. Make this shit hot like furnace. Shut the fuck up, keep learning. Bitch, I've been working on myself. You can't come for the new me, wow. Bitch, when it get like this, you got to keep it moving. You know me, you know I'm carefree, might switch it up. Living in 5D, bitch, kick it up. When I rise like Phoenix, they don't know what's happening. You know me, you know I'm carefree, might cut you off. Wanna see this bad bitch level up. When I rise like Phoenix. Do shit like laser beam. Keep up. Ooh, but don't make me snap. Don't make me show you how I move when this shit gets bad. You know I'm always listening, learning, making amends. I'm on a mission, making friends, no competition. I'm a smart and I just let them win. I can't avoid the lesson, can't go back to where I've been. There's something new and better on the flip side if you let it in. I'm too empathetic, I don't regret it. Okay. My shit onto wax again. Okay, I hope you're feeling better. A little bit more high vibe. And this practice is something that I do in all of my classes that are not dance related, or just in my own practice. Before I start working or creating content or anything, I feel like it's really important for me to just get in my body. And this song is Queen Herbie. She is just one of my all-time favorites right now. And so I just put on a Queen Herbie song in the morning and I just feel like my highest self. So that's super fun. And definitely dance with your dog if you have one, because it's just so sweet and it's the vibe. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna just dive right into it, and feel free to take notes this entire time. I'm gonna be covering a lot of information, and so I really want you to just
take notes on what you feel like taking notes. We are going to do some interactive things as well, where we are actively like talking about the type of content we want to create, writing it down, making plans. Because I feel like these classes, sometimes we can take a workshop like this, and then all of a sudden we learn all the information, we take it all in, and then we just forget about it. We don't take action on it. And I don't want that to happen to you after this class. I really want you to take all this information in and be able to apply it to your art and to your business. Okay. So I want to talk about the power of content creation first and foremost, because why are we creating content in the first place, right? And content creation is really where our creatrix energy gets to shine. And when I think about a creatrix, I think about being in the highest expression of myself, the most creative, the biggest, the boldest, the most confident version of myself. She's probably wearing pastel, she's probably wearing sparkles, and she's really showing up online unapologetically. And your content is a way to inspire others through your art, right? In a way that feels really good to you. So whether your art is dancing or Pilates, some type of movement, or tapping or singing or yoga or whatever your art is, or actual art, painting, things like that, it's a way to inspire others. And in a way that feels good to you is very, very important to me, because I have tried to create content so many times, like people told me to, whether it was algorithm focused or whether it was just like, oh, this is what you should do on social media. And that just never felt good to me. And I always end up burnt out. And so I really had to do it in a way that feels good to me. And that's a game changer when you do it that way. If you are a business owner or an artist that wants your work to be seen by the world, social media is a free tool to do that. You just want to make sure you don't get caught up in all the bullshit and caught up in all the ego of it all. You really want to make sure that you're focused on the right things, and it will feel so good and aligned to you when you are. And there is a way that I do social media. However, I want you to know that you can take anything from this class and then leave what doesn't serve you. Take what feels good. And, you know, I feel like, again, I never want you to feel like this is my framework and I have to do exactly her framework or it's not going to work for me. You want to just take and choose the pieces that feel like a yes for you. Okay. So I want to talk about how content has changed my business. So I originally started creating content online. I had a food blog called A Dancer's Plate years and years ago, like 10 years ago. I started a food blog and I was taking photos of my food, terrible photos, right? Of my food. And all of a sudden it just kind of like blew up. Yeah. I was in college, you know, on a budget. And I was like, well, I'm a dancer. I need to make sure I'm feeling my body. So I started this food blog. And then it just kind of evolved from there. I always loved creating content. But the one piece of content that changed my business, I never would have ever thought it would. And that was a YouTube video that was me teaching a Latin dance tutorial. And I remember I was kind of like, okay, I'm done with food blogging. I would really love to start a YouTube channel. So I did, just off the cuff. And that one video is the top Latin dance tutorial on YouTube now and has driven so many people to my business. Like I literally get no clients from Instagram. I get all my clients from YouTube. And we're going to talk about that more. I love YouTube. But so that's the power of content creation. That one video changed my entire life, essentially. It allowed me to start my business. And so just know, as you're creating content online, sometimes it can feel monotonous, or sometimes it can feel like nothing's happening, but things are happening for you. And that's the power of the universe and magic and being a creatress. When we are really putting our intention and attention in the right place, things are going to flow. I would have never known that that terrible quality video on YouTube would have allowed me to start my business. And so it just kind of is really hopefully inspiring to you to know that even if you start small, if you start filming content or taking videos and photos with your phone, or if you don't really know what you want your business to be, or if you don't really know what art you want to put out into the world, but you just start creating something, that's the magic. And that's all you have to do is just start, truly. And then we're going to dive into this as well a little bit deeper. But again, when you start creating content, you start building community. And I think so many people think that content is just content, but it's really, content is the key to community. And I think so many people miss that when they are starting to make art, starting their business. They miss the fact that the community is the focus. So you always want to kind of have that in the back of your mind. Like, yes, I'm doing this, whether it's for myself and for my art to be seen by more people, or whether it's to start a business, the community should always be your main focus. And so Creatrix, she always, of course, has her best interest at heart, but she also has her community's interest at heart. Okay. So that should always be your focus. And I want to talk about stepping into your Creatrix Persona Online, because I learned this concept of a Creatrix. Well, it was so funny because I had my business program, Creatrix Biz Builder, and I was trying to figure out what to name the program. And so I was like, I think Creatrix, but I didn't even know if I knew what a Creatrix was at the time. And then I found Gabriella Rosie, that's who made this Creatrix necklace. And she did all this work on Creatrixes. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm obsessed with this concept of a Creatrix. And a Creatrix is really a creatress. It's a woman who's like deeply connected, or a being, any person, deeply connected to herself and to her feminine source of creative power. So feminine energy, creativity, it's so intertwined. And she really allows her desires to be birthed into the world, and life of all kinds, not just, of course, like women birthing babies, but it's like birthing our businesses, birthing ideas and art into the world. And she's not afraid to do that. And it's really this like confidence and this charisma and this bigness, right, that a Creatrix, I feel, is like shows up in. And the most important thing that I wish I would have known when I started my business is, if you show up online trying to be anyone else, or if you try to emulate someone else, you will probably fail or burn out. And I've done this so many times where I would be like, oh, I want to create content like this person, so I'm going to emulate them and what they're doing. I'm going to choose the colors that they're using in my branding, or I'm going to talk about this subject and this subject, or do the reel like this. But really, none of that felt good to me, because it wasn't me. It wasn't authentically who I was, which is what a Creatrix is. She has this authenticity about her, right? So if you show up online not like you, it's going to feel authentic. People aren't going to engage with it the way that you want to. And also, if you have a fear of showing up as yourself online, that's okay. Everyone does. Like, I remember being terrified to post that first YouTube video. It was just like, just pressing the publish button was so hard for me. And the more that you push yourself to do those things, the easier it's going to be. You just have to do it the first time. The first thing that you press publish on, you just have to do it that one time. And then it gets so much easier from there. But what I like to do is kind of have this Creatrix persona that I embody, right? So I like to have kind of this alter ego of my Creatrix that I show up online as, and that does make it easier for me to show up online. And so this is kind of an elevated version of you, the version that you want to be. And I'm not saying lie, or be someone you're not. That is not what I'm saying. But be the person that you know is already inside of you, that's just dying to come out, break out of your box, right? The box that you put yourself in, the box that society has put you in. I want you to break out of that, right? And I want you to show up as your biggest self. And even that can be the clothes that you wear, the way that you talk, if you're doing like a video or something like that, just how you're showing up online, just pushing yourself to maybe be that next level version of you. And you're going to become that version the more comfortable that you get within that version of you. And also realize that if that's still feeling hard, it's your stories, your limiting beliefs that are limiting you, that are keeping you from expressing yourself like that online. And so these are really like phantom barriers that are holding you back. They're not even real. They're fake, right? But we have to realize that those barriers, we've put them there to keep ourselves safe, understandably so, but we need to bring those down so that people can really start to see this full expression of us. Because if people aren't resonating with you online, or if they're not feeling like you're authentic, they're probably not going to either buy what you're selling, or they're not going to relate to your art. So you really want to make sure that you're being your truest self, while also allowing that version of you to be a little bit bigger. Like I was talking about Queen Herbie. I'm obsessed with Queen Herbie, and it's her alter ego, right? That's not her real name. And she shows up as this version in her music and her music videos and her Instagram. Highly recommend following her. And she's fabulous. But when you hear her talk on a podcast or things like that, she isn't always that way. So it's just these kind of alter egos that these celebrities, these people that we admire, they use, because as ourselves, as a human, sometimes it feels hard to achieve that type of expression. And so that's why I want to do an exercise where we're going to design our creatrix energy. Okay, so I want us to really get this like creatrix persona. Even if you've done something similar before, or you've created an alter ego before, I really want you to think about the creatrix artist or the creatrix business owner version of yourself. And I want you to design her, just like, you remember like the games like Sims and stuff where you get to like pick out all the clothes, do the hair. I want you to like do that with your creatrix persona. Okay, so I'm going to yes, I was a Sims girly. And I saw the other day, oh my gosh, there was someone posted on Instagram and it was like, if you know, you know. And it was this one game, and I remember playing it all the time, where you would like dress up the dolls and like decorate their house and all the things. That was just my energy. And now I'm doing that to this day with myself. So what I want you babes to do is just grab your journal. I want you to write at the top, creatrix blank, Caitlin, creatrix, whatever. And I want you to fully go into detail on who your creatrix is, what do they wear, what is their mission and their purpose, what are they creating? And I really want you to get unfiltered and also dream big with this version of yourself. Like I remember on mine, when I did this, I even talked about like how long my hair was and what colors I wore. I want you to go in to super detail. And a little twist is I want you to kind of write this as a poem, because I feel like sometimes we write these things down in kind of in list form, which is fine, it has its place, but I want this to be something that's literally a work of art that you can come back to it, that you can be inspired by. And I have been super inspired by writing poetry lately. It's just felt like deeply connected to me, and it's something that I feel like I never took the time to do. I never took the time for my writing to be beautiful and be something that felt like a work of art in itself. And I really want this creatrix persona poem. You can even name it something cute and cheeky if you want to, but I want it to feel like something where you could like type it out, print it, put it somewhere. And when I say poem, it doesn't have to rhyme. It just needs to be like art. I want you to just take a little bit of time with it. Okay, so I'm going to put a song on. This can be a rough draft also. This can be a rough draft and you can come back to it, but I'm going to put a song on, allow you babes to journal for a few minutes and to just get really, really clear on who your creatrix is. Okay, so let's get a vibe on, shall we?
Not even they can stop me now. Will I be flying overhead? The heavy words can't bring me down. Boy, I've been raised from the dead. I don't even notice how hard life was. I don't even think about it now because I finally found you. Sing it to me. Now my life is sweet like cinnamon, like a fucking dream I'm living in. Baby, love me 'cause I'm playing on the radio. How do you like me now? Pick me up and take me like a vitamin. My body's sweet like sugar venom, oh yeah. Baby, love me 'cause I'm playing on the radio. How do you like me now? American dreams came true somehow. I swore I'd chase them till I was dead. I heard the streets were paved with gold. That's what my father said. No one even knows what life was like. Now I'm in LA and it's paradise. I finally found you. Sing it to me. Now my life is sweet like cinnamon, like a fucking dream I'm living in. Baby, love me 'cause I'm playing on the radio. How do you like me now? Pick me up and take me like a vitamin. 'Cause my body's sweet like sugar venom, oh yeah. telepathic. No, I'm on a snake, goddamn it. I be so candid, gentle but a bitch do damage. Abracadabra, these bitches know I got answers. The way I pose for the cameras, they be like whoa, like whoa. And just when they thought it was safe, I pull out my wand and my cape. I don't let these bitches escape me. Hell to the no. Game over, put chills in your bones, I told ya. Come quick like a cold October. Don't leave me alone, come closer, come closer. I'm on ya, like moth to a flame, you were gonna go numb like it ain't no drama. Picking up on a whole new genre, new genre. Coming with the bad bitch magic, and they can't stand it. When I put these hoes in a panic, something about it so romantic. Keeping it classic, maybe I'm the next Kate Blanchett. Coming with the bad bitch magic, I'ma let you grab it. Feeling like a bitch telepathic. No, I'm in a snake, goddamn it. I be so candid, gentle but a bitch do damage. Abracadabra, these bitches know I got standards, but I'm a fucking disaster, and that's how I like it. I'm tired of being polite. My manners go bump in the night, cause bad bitches can't be too kind. It's a no for me. Game over, put chills in your bones, I told ya. Come quick like a cold October. Don't leave me alone, come closer, come closer. I'm on you, like moth to a flame, you were gonna go numb like it ain't no drama. Picking up on a whole new genre, new genre. Coming with the bad bitch magic, and they can't stand it. When I put these hoes in a panic, something about it so romantic. Keeping it classic, maybe I'm the next Kate Blanchett. Coming with the bad bitch magic, I'ma let you grab it. Feeling like a bitch telepathic. No, I'm in a snake, goddamn it. I be so candid, gentle but a bitch do damage. No, I'm in a snake, goddamn it. Bitch feeling telepathic. Abracadabra. I don't know what's come over me lately. I just feel like out of control.
Okay, babes, go ahead and finish up. Just let me know whenever you're done. That part,
Breathe.
Okay, so I hope that was super fun. Again, you can come back to this exercise or like edit, you know, it'll shift and change. It's kind of a great idea to allow this to evolve, you know, so just like checking back in with it. You know, yesterday was the new moon, so even if you have like a ritual, maybe it's around the new moon or every few months, like checking back in with this Creatrix version of you and just seeing how aligned you are with it. Or also too, before you create content, maybe it's part of your morning ritual, right, that you do, and you're like, okay, this is how I'm showing up today, this is how I'm expressing myself today. And it's just a good thing to keep checking back in with this version of yourself. Okay, so now that we've talked about your Creatrix persona, the power of content, I want to talk about creativity hacks. Creativity, sometimes when you've been doing content for a long time, it's actually not that easy. At first, I feel like all the ideas are flowing, right? And then once you've been doing it a while, it's really easy to get stuck. And I know this because I've been there with my own content. And so I want you to, number one, stop looking at other people's accounts for inspiration. So anyone that's in your field, like if it's a dancer or if it's another artist or singer, it's really easy to just look at what the industry that you're in is doing for inspiration. And that is literally taking your content creatrix, creativity, energy away from you, because it's like, what is everyone else doing? Okay, I'm just going to replicate that. And that's a huge mistake that I've made, because when I do that, it's like, well, it's not interesting. It's not new. What am I bringing to the table that's different? And that's what a creatrix is. She's different, right? She's doing things maybe against the grain or against the norm. So I really want you to think about that as you are creating. I want you to think about, what do I like? What do I want to create? Not what everyone else is doing. Stepping outside of your niche for inspiration is really helpful. So I follow a lot of interior design accounts. I follow a lot of fashion accounts. I follow a lot of things that give me inspiration outside of dance, right? Because dance is my number one niche. It's my art, right? So instead of looking at a ton of dance videos all the time, that can feel a little bit like a comparison spiral sometimes. And it can also feel like I'm just creating what everyone else is creating, especially in heels and burlesque. The world is kind of small. And so you see the same things over and over again. And it's really easy to just keep repeating those things. And so instead, I follow people in other areas that inspire me. I've started watching music videos more. I've started watching like movies and things like that that inspire me, or diving back into the archive of like pop culture and celebrities and just like getting inspired. I also listen to a ton of different podcasts. So I'm very much into like witchy, all the witchy things, you know, astrology, tarot, all these different things. So I have this broad range of topics and I use all of those things to inspire me. Getting out of my house, you guys, this is so hard, especially as someone that works from home. I am at home all the time, and I find that the more that I'm home, the least I'm inspired, right? So me going out even to work at a coffee shop, I feel so much more inspired. Or like maybe taking a drive somewhere that I've never been in my area, or going on a hike or traveling, all of these things. I'm picking off phantom hairs, you guys. All of these things are things that inspire me, right? So that's really, really important. Or just getting out of your normal routine if you don't work from home is really important to help keep you really inspired. And I'm excited. My husband and I are going on a trip to Italy in a week and a half. And I'm so excited because we haven't taken a trip since our honeymoon. Really, I went to Miami, but that was a little bit of a shit show. So I went to Miami, and I feel like we haven't had a big trip, and I can feel myself needing that inspiration from travel, desiring that newness, because I feel like when we are stuck in the same routines, we're just not feeling inspired, right? We're not feeling like creative, and we're not coming up with new ideas. The more that I'm in my house, the more that I tend to repeat the choreography that I've done a million times. You know what I mean? So that's something that's really important to remember. Get out of your house, experience the world, experience food, music, you know, go to a thrift store, have time with your friends. Like that's where my inspiration comes from. And also too, this goes back to the social media thing. I guess I'm out of order here, but this goes back to the social media thing. Unfollow people that you find that you're comparing yourself to in your niche, or that you find that just make you feel kind of icky when you are online. I have my High Vibe Heels account and I have my Ashlyn Torrey account. My Ashlyn Torrey account, I like never use. I only use my High Vibe Heels account because I can like curate my feed, and that keeps me really inspired and not like caught up in the noise of being online too. It's just, that doesn't help me at all. So really like kind of, curate your feeds. If you're using Instagram, TikTok, whatever you're using, curate them to help you with that inspiration. And also silence is powerful. Like just not following anyone, deleting Instagram for a day. You know what I mean? Like being in silence, sitting in silence. It's just the power of silence. I never really realized how much content I was consuming on a day-to-day basis. I literally took an inventory a while back of how much content that I was consuming. And I was like listening to a podcast from the time that I got up, which was 6 or 7, until the time I went to bed. I never had a break of silence. And I was like, okay, this is a problem. First of all, I think this is contributing to my anxiety. And second of all, I think this is why I'm not feeling inspired, because I'm hearing what everyone else is doing. I'm hearing what I should be doing. I'm hearing everyone else's ideas, and I don't have any time to just be. So what I started doing is when I go outside on a walk with Aries, instead of listening to a podcast, I will just not have anything on. Or sometimes I will just go out on the porch and I will do some journaling. I will write some poetry, and that will help me to just like listen to my own thoughts. Your thoughts are powerful, and I only get great ideas when I'm not taking other people's ideas, right? And same with choreography, because I'm a dancer. Sometimes I just need to like take a break from taking class and like start to just play around with like how my body wants to move, you know, things like that. We are consuming so much more information than we ever have before online. And it's really important to tune back into yourself, because that's where the true creativity comes from, right? And those experiences, those everyday experiences that we are talking about. So get inspired by the environment you create in as well. This is a creativity hack. I have to be creating in a beautiful environment. Like, it's just not optional. I surround myself with plants and crystals and just painted my studio pink. It's just a vibe. I have to be in a beautiful space. If I go to a coffee shop, it has to be beautiful. I light candles. I create out in nature. I do whatever I can around me to put myself in a space and in an energy that feels, yes, aesthetic, beautiful, and inspiring. That is a huge creativity hack. Also, putting this, my phone, away in the other room while I'm creating is also really powerful, and I get so much more done. If I'm trying to choreograph in my room, my phone is in the same room, it's not going to happen. I'm going to end up on Instagram somehow. So it's really important to make sure that you've got no distractions and you're in a space that feels really beautiful. I always have a beverage of some sort, whether it's a mocktail or whether it's sparkling water, coffee. I always have something like that, and I just create a mood for myself. It should feel delicious, right? Creativity shouldn't be something that we have to like force, right? That we have to just like trudge through the mud. It should feel light. And sometimes it doesn't feel easy, but we should be able to kind of curate the experience and make it feel more inspiring. And co-creating with other creatrixes as well is a really big creatrix hack, creativity hack. So how can you surround yourself with people who are also creating, right? That's a huge deal. I have amazing friends that are also creating, and sometimes we do co-working sessions, or sometimes I outsource my creativity, which is new for me because I have always been a Capricorn about my business, and I try to do everything myself. But instead, recently, I've been kind of handing over the reins. So instead of like shooting my own photos and editing them and all the things, I have a best friend who's a photographer. And so I'm like, hey, why haven't I been asking you to do my photos for me? So it's just fun to like involve other people in your creative process, outsource things if you can, get people to help you because people want to support you in your creative journey. And it's really hard to do it alone, right? So finding people that are on the same wavelength as you, that are creating as you are, or that have ways that their creativity can aid in your business, like it's just really important to have people along that journey with you. And that's a huge hack. Okay, now when it comes to actually creating, a big hack that I have, because so many things get like in my brain and I can't keep everything there. I utilize the notes app on my phone constantly. I am brainstorming 24/7. I'm writing down content ideas all the time. Like sometimes I'll be reading a book and it'll just come to me. And so I just put it in I literally have a note in my phone that's content ideas, whether that's a YouTube tutorial that I want to make, whether that's a song that I want to use in a piece of choreography or an Instagram post. I have a whole note that way that I don't forget those things, because they come, especially when I am incorporating that silence that we talked about, they come so quickly. And so you want to have a place to easily write them down. If you're old school, keep a little mini journal, you know, in your backpack or your purse or whatever, and just have something on hand where you can easily write down those ideas. Okay, and then these are really like tangible, specific content creation hacks, and we're going to do a little bit of journaling on them as well. So first of all, deciding the what that you're creating. So what are you creating? Are you creating videos? Are you creating art, like physical art? Are you creating, you know, music, podcasts? You need to decide what you're creating for. If you've got this like, oh, I could create anything and everything, it's super overwhelming. So you want to kind of decide, where am I going to start, right? That's the best place. So if you're going into a Creatrix creative content session, you're like, okay, this is my desired outcome. I need to plan 10 podcast episodes out, or I need to do this or whatever. That's when it's super important to have the what in mind, and then to whom. So this is when we talked about the community aspect. Who am I creating this for? And getting really clear on the person that you want to be consuming your content, whether if you are in business and it's your like ideal client, or whether it's just your ideal consumer, right? You want to have someone in mind that you're thinking of as you're creating these things. Who do you feel like is going to enjoy your content the most? Who do you feel like is going to purchase your products? You really want to get super, super clear on who that ideal customer is. And then narrowing down, like if you have any type of like focus, whether it's for an episode or whether it's for an Instagram caption or whatever, if you have a focus in mind, let's say your focus is body image, then brainstorming all the different possibilities under that topic, and just maybe even keeping, I have a Google Drive of all these different topics that my business covers, all these different topics that I want to cover in my podcast and things like that. And I just add to that consistently. Okay. So you want to just have like ongoing lists. And it's so funny because I talk to so many different people through my podcast, and so many people say that lists is one of their biggest hacks to business. And it's true. Like if you are keeping so much of this in your mind, it's just going to stay in your mind. It's not going to actually be anywhere. It's not going to do anything. It's not going to go anywhere. It's not going to actually be art. So you want to make sure that you're getting all those ideas out somewhere, and that way you're able to access them. So something else that's I want to kind of share with you is my content creation apps. Okay. So I have a few apps that I use for my content creation. If you've seen my Instagram, you know, my Instagram is very colorful. It's very sparkly. I'm really, really specific about my branding on my YouTube channel and all these different things. So I do want to walk you through a few of the apps that I use to kind of make the content creation process more fun. So the first app that I use is Lightroom, and I have tried so many different apps, but what I decided when it came to, especially if you're creating Instagram content or if you're using photos for your thumbnails on YouTube, things like that, I have the Lightroom app, and then I found someone's presets that I really loved. And a preset is like a filter that you input into Lightroom, and you can just download them from like your favorite, you know, if you have an Instagrammer that you love or an influencer, a lot of times they will have their presets available. And so I use those to edit my photos when I don't have them professionally taken, but honestly, I'm really loving having them professionally taken so I don't have to edit them. So you have those two different options. Lightroom is really great. And also Color Story is a great photo editing app. So if you're editing photos for your content, Color Story has a lot of different already like pre-made filters. And then Lightroom is something that you can like manually edit like a photographer would in your phone, or you can like upload those presets. And if you want to add sparkles and clouds and all the things that I love to add on my photos, I use PixArt. So that's PICSART. And I use the sticker function a lot on PixArt. And I also use the, let's see, I'm just gonna make something real quick for you. I also use the brush tool. That's what I use, the brush tool. And they have beautiful sparkles and little things like that. You guys, content creation would be so boring for me if I didn't add all this magic. And so I use PixArt a lot to just like make my photos and stuff a little bit more magical. I add stars, I add moons, I add all the things on PixArt. So just play around with it. You can also merge photos together on PixArt, which is really cool. So if you have a photo you love, but you're like, I hate that backdrop, you can actually like merge in like a sunset or like, you know, something cosmic. You can merge photos together, which is really, really cool. So I love that app. And oh my gosh, yes, Britt, I got you, boo. It's so hard. You guys, I'm telling you, finding this information it's taking me so long to kind of like hone it all down into my process now, because there's so many different apps and things you can try, but girl, I relate to you so hard. And then the other app that I use is Facetune. Now, I do not use Facetune to make myself look thinner or to edit out any blemishes, things like that. I use Facetune for a few different reasons. Also, can we just take a moment for this light right here? It's so pretty. I use Facetune for really funny things, to make my brows a little bit darker. So like sometimes when a photographer takes my photos, I notice that like my face kind of gets like drawn into backdrop. So I will go in, I will darken my brows, and I will just like do this on my lashes, and it makes your eyes pop a little bit more. Cause sometimes I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like people's like eyes don't, you know, they don't show up in photos as good as they do in person. So I always do that. And then if it's a white backdrop, I will lighten it. I will whiten it. So the whiten tool is actually for your teeth, but I use it to like whiten the back of my images. So whiten, I use the details tool for my brows, for my eyes. It's like so silly. And then the smooth tool. So let's say you have, like I just had some photos taken where the backdrop was a little bit like, so I smoothed the backdrop down a little bit. So you can just do like little detail things in Facetune. And this is obviously for like Instagram content, but I think Instagram is a great tool that I've been using for a really long time. And if you are creating content of any type, whether you are selling your art or you are kind of your business, it's really an important tool, I think, to have and to know how to make photos and videos that inspire you. And then as far as reels go, I love to use the app In Stories. That's the one, In Stories. Yes. And you can create Instagram stories, and you can create, I use the Instagram story template, and then I use that for my reels. And this is my new favorite app. It is so nice. Creating Instagram reels in Instagram is just, no, it is just not good. This is really nice because I have like certain fonts and things that I use, and it's easily to like, you can duplicate things, and you can make, like, if I make an Instagram reel one time, then I have the format, and then I can just like plug in, you know, new videos and music and things like that into it. So those are my favorite like platforms, I guess, apps for Instagram. Yeah, it is a nightmare to make them on Instagram. I know, it's the worst. And so this is my favorite app. It definitely, I think there's a fee, totally worth it, because I feel like Instagram, you can't really make your reels aesthetic, and you can't, I also don't love the text options and things like that. And this just makes the process really seamless. Now, let's talk about my favorite app of all time, which is not really an app, I guess. I use it more on the desktop, and that is Canva. Yes, Canva is the holy grail. I use it for everything, every graphic that you will ever see me use on my Instagram story, in my emails. Canva. I'm going to share my screen with you so you guys can see just the variety of what you can do in Canva. It's literally life-changing. Okay, so let me pull this up. Here, I have Caitlin's podcast graphics here. Caitlin was just on the podcast, so I did little graphics. But so this is like the variety you can do on Canva. What's amazing about Canva is that I have, let me just take you to my homepage. They have a brand tab. Now, why this is amazing is because you can input your colors and your logo, so that every time I'm creating content, I just add my brand colors here. So let's say I was going to make a YouTube thumbnail or something. So I would go to projects, I would go to YouTube thumbnail. It's literally the best thing ever. And then you have all these different options to choose from, and then you can just use those branding colors and your logo as needed. And I use it for PowerPoint presentations, like my whole Creatrix Biz Builder program I built in Canva, my podcast graphics, anything I do for workshops or anything, like it's all in here. And once you kind of know how to use Canva, it can just be the most amazing tool. You also can add like audio and video and things like that into different graphics. It's just such, I mean, as you can see, everything here is just super branded that I've done, and their variety is just incredible. Totally worth the like $12 a month it is, because it's pretty much the only thing that I use outside of like Instagram apps and stuff like that. So highly recommend Canva, and it's fun. You guys, the creative process when it comes to content should be so fun. If you're not having fun, something is wrong. And I could literally spend hours and hours on Canva. So it's a vibe. Definitely get on it. I love it so much. Okay, so I want us to, now that we've journaled on who our creatrix is, and Britt, you'll be able to catch the replay and catch that part of the video. But now that we've kind of got a handle on who our creatrix is, I want us to journal about the what and the whom. So who are we selling our products to? Who are our podcast episodes for? Who is our art for? I want us to get super clear on that. And then I want us to get clear on what that we want to start creating. Because I do not want you to leave this call thinking that, okay, now I need to go to YouTube and Instagram and podcasting, and I need to create physical art, and I just am going to give up because it's too much. I don't want you to leave. I want you to leave this call having one specific area that you want to focus your business in, and like what that looks like for you. So let's say, okay, I know for sure that I want to teach people how to work out, or I know for sure that I want to teach people how to dance and heal, or I know for sure that I want to do my comedy or whatever it is. Like, I want you to be specific about the what. And then in the next piece of it, we're going to decide which platform is good for you. Okay. So, but I want you to decide to whom are you creating your content for, and what content are you creating? What are you putting out into the world? We are going to get super, super clear on that. So this little journal sesh, I'm going to put on some music and just get really clear on what and who, baby, because this is going to give you so much information, and it's going to make creating content so much easier the more that you kind of niche down and have an idea.
These niggas gotta make a whole lot of money. I like all my kisses French when I'm on my champagne shit. Everybody turn around taking them pics cause I'm on my champagne shit. And I'm throwing them tips on my champagne shit. And she throwing them hips cause I'm on my champagne shit. Now shake it all up. Move your little hip, hip, hips. Back that ass up. And do that little skip, skip, skip. It's all in her hips. It's all in them hip, hip, hips. She got them dimples in her back. And I'm on my champagne shit. I'll be a lottery tonight. Champagne shit. I'll be a lottery tonight. Champagne shit. These niggas about to make a whole lot of money. Champagne shit. These niggas about to make a whole lot of money. Don't ask me shit about work, cause I'm on my champagne shit. I'm talking high heels and no shirt, cause I'm on my champagne shit. I used to pray about taking vacations, remember them bills we split. Now I'm here with Bueno and we busting bottles like we won a championship. Yeah, I like all my kisses French when I'm on my champagne shit. Everybody turn around taking them pics cause I'm on my champagne shit. And I'm throwing them tips on my champagne shit. And she throwing them hips cause I'm on my champagne shit. Now shake it all up. Move your little hip, hip tips. Back that ass up. Do that little skip, skip, skip. It's all in her hips. It's all in them hip, hip, hips. She got them dimples in her back. And I'm on my champagne shit. I'll be a lottery tonight. Champagne shit. I'll be a lottery tonight. Champagne shit. Yeah, these niggas about to make a whole lot of money. Champagne shit. Yeah, these niggas about to make a whole lot of money. Champagne shit. Yeah, I like all my kisses French. Everybody turn around taking them pics. And she throwing them hips on my champagne shit. On my champagne shit.
And I love stuff. And you can always come back to these journal prompts and edit them, add to them. I just want to get you guys started. But yeah, that plays some Sabrina. And this is my Creatrix playlist, by the way. I have a whole Creatrix playlist. I will put it in the chat. It's a vibe. If you want to get creative, this is the playlist. Okay, so I hope that gives you a little bit of clarity. Like literally, you guys, clarity is so important because when you know who you're creating for and you're like, okay, this is my art, this is what I'm bringing. For me, that's dance, right? I know that feeling and feel, dancing and feel burlesque, that's my thing. So when I had who I wanted to share that information with and what I was doing, it made my business, my art so much easier because I can focus in on that one thing. The biggest mistake that I see people make in the beginning, they get overwhelmed by all the shoulds and all the things they should be doing and all the people they should be creating for, and they're trying to create content for everyone. And that doesn't work. Not everyone's going to like you. Not everyone's going to want what you have to promote or to sell or your art in general. And that's fine. That's actually great. That means you're doing something right when people don't like you. So I always say the more people that don't like you, it's fine, because that just means that you are showing up as your fullest expression of self. And often a lot of people don't get that. So that's fine. That's what a Creatrix says. She's polarizing. And you're probably going to be polarizing when you're showing up as your full self. And that's okay. So let's talk about finding the perfect platform for you. This is important because again, this goes along with that piece of overwhelm. And I want to kind of get you to ask yourself, like, what content do I like to consume? What content do I consume? I asked myself this literally 2 weeks ago because I have honestly been feeling really bogged down with Instagram. I'm just feeling uninspired, not excited. I don't even scroll on Instagram myself. And I was literally asking myself, okay, what content do I like to consume? I consume YouTube literally all day, every day. Like I do my yoga videos on YouTube. I, do my tapping videos on YouTube. I love watching people's travel vlogs. Like I'm on YouTube all the time. I love long form content and I love podcasts. Those are the two things that I am constantly listening to and watching. And I was like, why am I trying to force myself to do Instagram when sometimes I would much rather create a YouTube video. And so also all of my clients have come from YouTube. And that's because I am giving people like tutorial specific information, right? I'm giving them like a pretty long video. Usually, I mean, if it was like an 8-minute video, that's still long. Like for Instagram Reels, I feel like their attention span is gone so quickly on Instagram or TikTok. Whereas podcasting and YouTube, I feel like you can get to know people better. I feel like they're truly there for what you have to offer. Now, if you're doing something like visual art or digital art or things like that, Instagram is going to be an amazing platform for you. But if you're doing something like me, where it's more like long form content, that's really important to be aware of and not try to force yourself into this box of like, everyone's doing Instagram, so I guess I have to. If you don't like it and if you don't consume content there, do not force yourself to do that. To me, that's the number one way to get out of your creatrix energy, is to force yourself to do things that you don't want to do. So I would just say get really clear with yourself on what you do want to do and what you don't. And then from there, pick one platform to start, okay? And one platform, and this is my recommendation, in addition to email marketing, okay? YouTube, Instagram, podcasting, and email. Your email list is something that you own, okay? So if Instagram disappears tomorrow, you have an email list. But if you don't have an email list, where are all those people? You don't know because you don't have the information. So you want to make sure that you have an email list, and you can build this email list through free content. I have a free, I need to actually update this, but I have a free 3-part heels class on my YouTube channel, and that has built my entire email list. Or when I host workshops like this, it also builds my email list as well. So doing things, either free workshops or having a freebie, like whether it's a free digital download or, you're teaching people how to record a podcast on, Spotify or whatever it is that you teach people how to do. If you want to teach people how to write a poem, if you have a freebie, like a short little free downloadable something, or something that someone has access to, like a class like this where you teach it live, so many people don't come to these classes live, but so many people sign up for them and watch them later. So you want to make sure that like everything that you're creating has a possibility of getting to more and more people. So like this class, everyone that signed up for it is going to get access to it later. And I have built my email list with this class. So there's so many different ways that you can do that, but having one platform of choice to start, and email marketing is so, so, so powerful. And oh my gosh, you guys, like, I get the mega ick when I hear people on social media being like, this is the way that it has to be. And like, this is how I built my business, so you need to too. It doesn't work that way. Like, it doesn't work that way. If you are out of alignment with whatever platform that you're on, people will sense that. And it's so funny because I was talking to my friend who's so good at Instagram, and she's like, babe, you're so good at YouTube. And I was like, but you're so good at Instagram. Like, I want to be good at Instagram. She's like, but I'm not good at YouTube. So like, everyone has their own thing. But when we try to like compare ourselves to other people or watch what everyone else is doing, and they're like, oh, their business is really successful, I should do that, or I should do this. It's just like, no. Focus on what you're good at, focus on what you love. And then it's going to, connect better with other people. Website before you create an email list? No. Absolutely not, babe. You do not need a website before you create an email list. So what I've done is, I have a hack. I literally just did not build my website until a month ago, and it's a very rough version. I have had Kajabi landing pages forever, like literally for what? Oh my God, 2 years, Caitlin, right? Since you've been in Confidence a little over. I started building landing pages and just building my email list for 2 years. This is what my coach told me to do. She was like, you do not need a website. You just need either some sort of landing page or something where you can grab people's emails, send them a freebie. So I use Kajabi because it's super simple. It's really user friendly. But also like Flowdesk, I've heard that Flowdesk is a mailing list is amazing. And I think you can build landing pages, but don't quote me on that because I'm not sure. I'm actually thinking of transferring over my email list to Flowdesk really soon. But yeah, so it's a really good way to start building it, and you do not need a website. The website can come later. Honestly, I find that I don't even look at a lot of people's websites anymore. I end up on their landing pages through whatever free marketing that they're doing. Okay. So yes, do social media in your own way. But if you're using these platforms like Instagram, be aware of trends and sounds and things that are trending, because you want to use, obviously the algorithms are what they are. You want to use these things to your advantage. So YouTube, not so much. The only thing that I really, really pay attention to, and has changed my YouTube channel in the past few weeks, is titles. So I've been looking at the titles of YouTube videos in my field. I look how people set them up, and I've been using words like sensual and sexy, and literally has changed my YouTube channel by just editing the title. So that's been super important. So you want to play into these things a little bit because they do matter. And that's a YouTube hack. Be really, really like conscious of the titles. So what I do is I type in heels class, burlesque classes in YouTube, because obviously that's my specialty. And I see the top ones that come up. Okay, that one has 3 million views. How did they structure their title? YouTube is all about titles. Instagram, if there's a sound that's trending, use the sound. Even if you hate it, don't use it. But even if you're like, oh, I've heard that a million times, Instagram pushes sounds. So make sure that you're using like trending audio, unless it's like a dance that you dance to. Obviously you want to use the music that you dance to, but things like that, things that are trending, will help get your algorithm up. You just want your stuff to be seen by more people. And then you can start to, make it a little bit more you as you build your audience. But building your audience is hard. So you want to make sure that you're utilizing these features that help you. And then if there are new features, or if there are new things that Instagram or other platforms that you're using are asking you to do, try it and see how it goes. See if it does impact your algorithm one way or the other. To be honest, Instagram algorithm sucks. It sucks. So I don't pay attention to it much. I do add audio to my videos and stuff that I feel like is trending, or if there's, like something that's I'm really enjoying, whether it's a trend in the spiritual world or the dance world, I'll try it. But for the most part, I'm just trying to give my audience the best information possible. I'm trying to inspire them. I'm trying to make them laugh. I'm trying to give them information that has been hard for me to find over the last 10 to 15 years, and make their process of becoming a dancer or becoming a business owner easier. So I think that should be your main focus. And then all the trends and all the things like that can come later. But you guys, if you're creating YouTube videos, that hack of the titles will change everything. It will truly change everything. And also your thumbnails too. Just making sure that your thumbnails are really catchy as well if you're using YouTube. Podcast, I love podcasting. And I feel like my podcast isn't so much something that I'm like trying to like relying on an algorithm for, but I do grow my podcast by getting bigger guests on my podcast. So people that have a big reach, like I had my dream guest, Bryn Nicole, on the last season of the podcast, huge reach. And also like, I knew that our communities would align. So finding people that can get your mission out to other people is really important with podcasting, and just talking about topics that you care about and you feel like your ideal client or customer or consumer would be interested in. That's really, really important too. So it's really all about what you love and what you think your customer will love. When you have that at the top of mind, you really can't go wrong. Okay, so I want us to take a moment to journal about what platforms we find interesting. Obviously, this is just going to take just a few minutes. Maybe you already know, but think about what platforms your target audience would be on for your art, and also what you enjoy consuming, kind of a combination of those, and maybe how you could start to use them in a different way that you've been using them up until this point. So just take a minute or so and journal on this.
Step up the tour bus, nobody knows us. Get in the car like skip. Staying up all night, order me pad thai, then we gon' sleep till noon. Me with no makeup, you in the bathtub, bubbles and bubbly. Ooh, this is a pleasure. Feel like we never like this regular. Quick, click, click, and post. Drip, 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 and gold. Quick, 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 let's go. Kiss me and take off your clothes. Imagine a world like that. Imagine a world like that. We go like up till I'm asleep on your chest. Love how my face fits so good in your neck. Why can't you imagine a world like that? Imagine a world. Knew you were perfect after the first kiss. Took a deep breath like feels like forever. Baby, I never thought that it would be you. Tell me a secret. Weep shit, that's how I know it's you.
Finish that up. We're feeling excited about which content creation platforms we're going to be using. If you feel like that, like lightness, that like, ooh, I'm so excited to create content on the platform, that's the platform for you to start out. You feel like, oh God, I don't want to do that. That's how I feel sometimes on Instagram. Then that's probably not the right platform for you. I do use Instagram because I can connect with a lot of the people that are on my YouTube channel. So if people like follow my Instagram, I will send them like a little welcome message and be like, what can I support you with today? That's the reason I use Instagram, because it connects me. But I don't use Instagram as an outlet for my art. That's too usually, and just my dance choreography in general. Yeah, ask away whatever questions you have about Instagram. But I'm gonna dive into branding. I'm gonna speed this up, you guys. I always go over, I'm sorry, you know I do. But I do want to get into branding because that's one of my favorite aspects of content creation and being a creatrix, is building a brand. And if you've been following me for a while, my brand has definitely evolved. And I would just say allow that evolution to happen. And you're not going to know what your brand is until you start trying things, right? So you really want to just play, right? Play around with what your branding could look like. Your brand is a reflection of you, okay? So again, if you're emulating other people's brands, it's not going to work out for you very well. So you want to make sure that you are really showing up as this, like, maybe you're inspired by other people, but it's ultimately you, right? I feel like we're all kind of, pieces of others. We have inspiration around us. We have people that we love. We love other people's styles. We love how they dance. We love how they do business. And you're kind of this melting pot of all of it, right? But you don't want to emulate like one specific person when it comes to your branding and things like that. You really want to create your own uniqueness and stand out. So when I created my brand originally, if you were here in the OG days of Studio Sully Luna, and I evolved to High My POs, there was not a beautiful dance studio online. There was not a beautiful brand that talked about spirituality and dance and it was colorful and the courses were fun and beautiful. It was all like, wow. So I wanted to kind of like step out of what was the norm in my industry and make my own experience. I haven't tried the broadcast feature. I haven't tried that yet. Yeah, I'm sorry. I haven't tried that feature yet. I have seen it and I've seen people doing it and I probably should look into it, but I haven't tried it out yet. I would say YouTube is always a great place to go if you're like really wanting to be in the know of features on Instagram and things like that. YouTube is a great place to start. But I made the mistake of trying to, I guess you could say, copy others, and not copy others like their art or anything like that, just copying like aesthetics and things like that, or like fonts, even everything that I used, I was like, I love her brand. Let me just copy paste it. And now I feel like I have my own brand identity. And that's really by getting to know myself and getting to know this creatrix version of myself that we talked about at the beginning of class. And I want you to think about branding in a way that you are obsessed with your branding, not in a way that you think other people will be. If you're obsessed with your branding, if you are obsessed with your art, people will be too. And I recently just did a photo shoot with my girl Araya, a forest photo. And I have this vision of like this orange and pink aesthetic, which I've always had, like kind of lavenders, pinks, blues. That's kind of always been my aesthetic since I started Studio Soleil Luna. And I was like, I don't really wear those colors a lot. I don't, you know, that's not my vibe anymore. I want to go with this like kind of like retro feel. I want to go with this like burlesque baddie, you know? And we did this photo shoot and it reflected so much of me. And I had never seen a photo shoot like that before. I didn't see it online and get inspired. It was literally one of those moments of silence that I was talking about, that I was like, oh, this sounds like it would be my brand. This is a fit. And so I think the more that we do that, the more we just try things out, the more that we're going to know exactly what our branding is. But I want you to be obsessed with your brand. So how I discovered my brand identity was Pinterest. I created a Pinterest mood board of what I thought my branding could look like or be. And I would just pin a bunch of different images. And I'm actually going to pull that up for you, babe, so you can see what I'm talking about, because it's not maybe what you would think it is. So I pin like aesthetic things. Oh my gosh, just Pinterest. You guys just, okay, no, it's gonna, okay. I have so many Pinterest boards. I was like, oh my God. So this is my High Vibe Feels Pinterest board. I go on Pinterest at least a few minutes a day, and I will just pin things. So I just pin anything that like makes me happy, anything that I'm like, oh, that's cute. And I use, if you notice, I use a lot of these photos either on my Instagram, or I use them in my emails, things like that. Just things that spark my creativity. I love this. But yeah, so it's just like I have a vibe mood board for my business. And this is really, really fun. And it also helps me get really clear on like, okay, what am I like obsessed with lately? And I was pinning a lot of like retro things and pink. I've been obsessed with pink. I've been in my studio pink. I've just been really obsessed with that lately. So I just kind of take note of what's coming to mind. And you'll notice a lot of these colors are in the branding piece of Canva that we talked about. So I just have this whole mood board, and a lot of these things I will use in my vision board. I embody my brand. I'm literally wearing my brand right now. I'm wearing lavender, you know, I'm just like fully embodied in my brand because it's what I love, right? So you have to understand that your branding, again, is this reflection of you. And so if you don't like it, then what's the, you know? Okay, so I want to talk about visuals and just doing things that haven't been done before in your niche. So when I created High Vibe Feels, when I created the membership, I was like, okay, there are so many dance memberships. A lot of them feel a little stuffy, not exciting. How can I make this different? And so you always want to think about how you can make things different. And in all of your work, you want to be thinking about, we talked about this, that ideal client, that ideal customer needs to be top of mind in your messaging, in your captions, in your YouTube videos. That needs to be the number one thing that you are thinking about. That way you just don't feel like you're talking to the entire world. Otherwise, it's probably not going to resonate with people that you want it to, okay? And that embodiment of your brand is so important. So just making sure that you are a literal walking representation of your brand. I was just listening to a podcast before this, and she was talking about, she was like, I dress in a way that reflects my brand. And I feel the same way. You babes know, I wear colors that are represented in my brand. I'm an embodiment of my brand. And so that's what a Creatrix is. She just embodies the things that she loves, which usually if you have a business or art, that's what you love, right? So let's talk about growth for our final topic of today, how to grow on social media. And so many people want to know, like, how can I grow this many followers and this many followers? You guys, I did that. I think I had like, oh my gosh, probably 15,000 followers on Instagram at one point. You guys, I have 9,000 now. That's how many I lost when I stopped doing food content. I think I had like 15,000 followers on Instagram. My YouTube channel was pretty small at the time, but it was a devastation when I started seeing that number going down. because I think I took like a year off of Instagram after I quit the food blog, to try to figure out what I wanted to do. Numbers mean nothing, absolutely nothing. The only way that numbers impact you, like let's say, okay, I have like a little under 1,000 on my High Vibe Heels account. I have almost 10,000 on my Instagram account. My Instagram account that has 10,000 followers, literally nothing happens there. I have 10,000 people following me almost, that like maybe 200 of them care about what I'm doing on High Vibe Heels. Like, it's just, your numbers are, when you start to see them as people, you'll realize, oh my God, I have 200 people following my account. That's 200 people that are interested in what I'm doing. We have this kind of skewed view of like numbers and potential clients and stuff on Instagram when we have a certain amount of followers, but really the number that matters is the people that are engaging with your content, that are actually interested in what you have to promote, and that you're truly engaging with, right? That's the number that should be growing. And it's more about that community aspect. Exactly. And the only way to grow and to be a content creatrix is consistency. And consistency can look a lot different. Like if you have a job right now, consistency is going to look different than someone that's doing this full time. So you have to like recognize where you are with that, and just know that it's going to look a little bit different for you. And community, consistency, community, non-negotiable. That is what is going to grow your business and your art. And one thing that I like to do, you already picked the platforms that you're interested in. So deciding on a day that you create content, or that your content goes live for that specific platform, helps me stay consistent. I upload YouTube videos every Friday, and I upload podcast episodes every Tuesday. That has been my schedule for a while. If I miss, it's not the end of the world, but I know that those two platforms are very easy for me to create on because I love them. And then Instagram is a little bit more sporadic for me, but what I've started to do is my Instagram and my email marketing are just a reflection of my YouTube channel and my podcast. So if I have a YouTube video going live, then all my content on Instagram is going to relate to that YouTube video. I used to create content for YouTube, different content for Instagram, different content for my email, and different content for podcasting. What the hell? I was literally psycho. So you want to like have this big piece of content. So if it's a YouTube video, or if I'm teaching a workshop like this, a lot of my content will revolve around that. So just like having a content schedule really helps. And like I use two different platforms to schedule. I have the Google Calendar, which I color coordinate and make it beautiful and pastel and aesthetic. And then I use Notion. I use both of those to schedule my days. I'm really simple. I don't like have everything like blocked out hour by hour, but I do have like the main things. And then I have a journal for my content schedule. So I have like in my Google Calendar, like, okay, I'm filming YouTube videos this day and this day. And then in my little journal, I have, okay, this is what day these pieces of content are going up. So I do try to stay on a schedule as much as possible, because that consistency builds. You know, something might go viral of yours, which is amazing. I had one reel on my Have I Heels account go pretty viral. And you know who those followers were? Creepy ass men I did not want on my account. So like there's really, it's just going viral, you know, whatever, it's fine. But like sometimes what's most important is that you affect those 5 people that are following you, that you can really make a difference in their life, or can really be inspired by what you're doing. So try not to get caught up in the numbers, because all it's going to do is stress you out, and we don't need that, because that's just going to hold you back from your potential. Okay. So try something attainable, a schedule that's attainable for you. And then just remember that none of this matters without your community. Keep your ideal clients or customers at top of mind, and also ask what they desire. So getting feedback and interacting with your community is a huge way to grow. So commenting on people's posts is going to get more and more people on your account. So especially with Instagram, I don't really do this much with YouTube, but commenting on people's Instagram posts and just really caring about what other people are doing, and just interacting, getting involved, like posting polls or questions on your Instagram stories, asking people what they're interested in. That is a huge way to grow and get your community more involved, take your business to the next level, and just support them. People that are in your space, or people that you think would be ideal customers for you, just care about them and just get involved in what they're doing. The more you know your ideal customer or consumer by like the back of your hand, the easier it's going to be to create content and to market to them. So I want us to, our last journal prompt of today is I want you babes to take a few minutes. We're going to take about 5 minutes to do this before we close out. And we're going to make a list of 10, if I said it, 10 content ideas. 10 content ideas and the platform included. So just make a list, short list, content idea, and then the platform that it's going to go up on. Okay. And this can be like, does not have to be in detail at all. I'm only giving you 5 minutes. You can elaborate on this later, but I just want you to have like a broad idea of 10 things that you can create. If you're really stuck, do 5, but I believe in you to do 10. Okay. Let me put on a hype song and we're going to do this together. Oh goodness, I have so many options.
I'm the worst of them. I don't start it, but I can tell you how it ends. Don't get sad, get even. So on the weekends, I don't dress for friends. Lately I've been dressing for revenge. She needed cold hard proof, so I gave her some. She had the envelope, where you think she got it from? Now she gets the house, gets the kids, gets the pride. Picture me thick as thieves with your ex-wife, and she looks so pretty, driving in your Benz. Lately she's been dressing for revenge. She don't start it, but she can tell you how it ends. Don't get sad, get even. So on the weekends, she don't dress for friends. Lately she's been dressing for revenge. Ladies always rise above. Ladies know what people want. Someone sweet and kind and fun. The ladies simply had enough. Well, he was doing lines and crossing all of mine. Someone told us white collar crimes to the FBI. And I don't dress for villains or for innocence. I'm a vigilante again. I don't start it, but I can tell you how it ends. Don't get sad, get even. So on the weekends, I don't dress for friends. Lately I've been dressing for revenge. You got the cinema. It's you, and I'm not getting over it. Darling, is it cool? like it when you dance with me. You all the time. In doses at night. No roof on the climb. Dust off the line and go to sleep. I just think you're cool. I dig your cinnamon. Do you think I'm cool too? Or am I too into you? I just think you're cool. I dig your cinnamon. Do you think I'm cool too? Or am I too into you? You got, I bring pop, you pop. You got, I bring pop. You got the cinema. I bring pop to the cinema. You pop. You got the cinema. You got the cinema. I bring pop to the cinema. You pop when we get intimate. You got the cinema. You got the cinema. I bring pop to the cinema. You pop when we get intimate. You got the cinema. You got the cinema. I bring pop to the cinema. You pop when we get intimate. You got the cinema. You got the cinema. I bring pop to the cinema. You pop when we get intimate. You got the cinema. You got the cinema. I bring pop to the cinema. You pop when we get intimate. I just wanna get higher on my lover. Veo una muñeca cuando miro en el espejo. Kiss, kiss, looking dolly eyed. Think I may go out tonight. I just wanna ride.
Hey, hi, Beth. Feeling excited. You have some content ideas. And again, if you didn't get all 10, that's okay. You can like finish this up right after this call. We're about to close out. But I hope after this call that you feel super inspired to create, because I posted this on my Instagram today. The world needs your art. They need what you create and want to promote and sell, and the gifts that you have and your authenticity. Like, they need all of it. And so I want this workshop to inspire you to stop thinking about it. Stop thinking about all the amazing ideas and all the ways that you could support other people. And I want you to start taking action on it. And that's why I wanted to do these prompts on the call and not just give them to you as homework, because I feel like when we have this community here, it's really inspiring and we get really motivated, and it's so much easier to take action than when we are alone. And allow this whole process to just be fun. And please don't get swept up in the social media vortex, because it is a vortex and it can be a breeding ground for comparison and feeling stuck and limiting beliefs and all the things. But you deserve to be there. You deserve for what you have to create to be seen. And just know I want to see it. And I know so many other people will too. You just have to start putting it out there. Okay. And I do want to give you babes a very special offer. Because you came to this call, I am hosting a big sale on my course, Creatrix Biz Builder. Caitlin is currently in the course already. And this course is really a step-by-step process of how to build a business. And that also can be like online related, but it also can be for any creative as well. When I started teaching dance, I had no idea that I would be teaching online. I thought I was just going to be teaching in person. So it really can be at any stage of business that you're in and you're ready to just take your business to the next level, or you want to start making content online, this course is like everything that we learned today times 1,000. I really give you my step-by-step process of how I started my business, how I use content, how I create community. And it is just unlike any other business course on the market. It's fun. It's aesthetically beautiful. All the things that I talked about that we want to do with our art, make it different and unique. It really teaches you everything you need to know to launch a soulful creative business. We go over leadership and mindset, their EFT tapping videos. We talk about soul purpose. We learn how to craft our conscious business on the back end, which is like website, legalities, design, organization, social media. I go over YouTube, Instagram, podcasting, email marketing, how to create your own courses, how to sell, how to make more cash money. Like everything's in this course. And you guys, I spent tens of thousands of dollars on business courses that did not work and that did not give me the information that I wanted. And it's very hard when you're starting a business because most of the time you don't have money. And then you're also just struggling to figure out like what process is going to work for me. It just seems very overwhelming. So I really wanted to condense everything I knew into this business course and make it easy and simple for you to get started, because business should not be complicated. And I feel like everyone has something that they could be sharing and promoting. And it's so much better than being stuck at a 9-to-5 that we hate, you know? And so this course includes 7 modules that are do it at your own pace. And it's just jam-packed full of information. And because you babes came to this call, I'm offering a really sweet deal. So until next week, I'm offering $200 off Creatrix Biz Builder, which is crazy because it's already under $1,000. And I'm offering, if you sign up within the next week, a free 30-minute call with me. So we can hop on, get to know your business, see how I can support you in that process. And also, if you're not a High Vibe Heels member, then you will also get access to the High Vibe Heels membership. So that's 2 bonuses, almost $300 worth of bonuses, and $200 off the course. So the code for that, if you want to sign up for Creatrix Biz Builder, is BizBaddie. And you just put BizBaddie. I'm going to put it in the chat, BizBaddie at checkout, and you can get $200 off the course and all of the beautiful bonuses that I just mentioned. And that will just be available for the next week. I want to give some people time to watch the replay, and then this offer is going to disappear. So I really hope you babes know I'm like your biggest support system, whether or not you sign up for Creatrix Biz Builder or not. I want you to thrive. I want your art to thrive. I want your business to thrive. I'm always here for you. And I love hosting workshops like this. We're definitely going to do more in the future because I think it's so fun to just be creative together, and Creatrixes can't do it alone. And I want you to know that I'm always here for you to support you in your business journey, and just be here as a fellow creatrix to help guide you along the way and not make all the same mistakes I did, you know. But definitely let me know if you babes have any questions. You all have my Instagram. Shoot me an Instagram message. Let me know if you need any support or anything at all. And I just love you so much. Thank you so much for coming to this call. You babes are amazing. Mwah, mwah, mwah.